Alright, Victor Camel, you got my attention. You got it. Let's see, the background. I made a video, actually, what, 2-3 videos ago? My problem with agnostics revisited. It was, watch it. Link, I haven't done this in so long. It's over there? Yeah, link's over there. A response video was made to that by a user by the name of Toreasonwhy. Link over there. The comment section of that video, this is what is getting me riled up. Winter lager. I'm not looking forward to spring because I don't like the pale ales, but the winter lager and the Oktoberfest are excellent from Sam Adams. Alright, Victor Camel. He might call himself an agnostic, but this is the thing that gets me about people who call themselves agnostics, because what they really are deists in disguise. And, you know, philosophically, I don't have too much of a problem with a deist, because, well, really, the only problem that I have with religious people is, one, they vote on political decisions influenced by their religion, which is unjustifiable. And two, they have a habit of killing themselves for stupid reasons, or trying to kill other people for stupid reasons. Not that they're, you know, people really ever kill each other for really good reasons, but, you know, what's one more bad reason to kill somebody? I mean, it's one that you don't need. Anyway, I'm rambling again. Let's see, where should I start? You know what? Read the comments yourselves, but I'm going to comment on exactly what I'm talking about here. I compared the holding out the belief in God, not the rigid belief in God, but holding out to the possibility of a God existing, and I compared that to holding out the possibility that leprechauns exist. You know, this has been done before. I mean, the flying spaghetti monster, the unicorn that is both invisible and pink at the same time. It's one of those concepts that you can make up that can't be logically disproven because it's undetectable, and that's the point. It's a ridiculous notion to bring up in the first place. So a user by the name of Victor Camel counters my leprechaun example, and he says, 1, leprechauns aren't a philosophically important issue by which we label people. You know, assuming that, of course, the discussion about whether or not a God exists is a philosophically important issue. 2, a denial of leprechauns doesn't leave us with the question, then where did the universe come from? Of course, he's inferring the God of the gaps at this point. And 3, leprechauns are an earthly phenomenon for which we can find counter evidence. And I would say we don't even find counter evidence. We just have a total lack of evidence of leprechauns. Just because we haven't found a leprechaun burrow doesn't mean that they don't exist somewhere. That's the jump, you see. We haven't actually found counter evidence for leprechauns. It's just the concept is so blatantly absurd that we disregard it without any positive evidence to back up the claim. That's the point. The existence of the God in the Abrahamic tradition is so absurd that without any evidence to back up that claim in the first place, it is to be discarded as ridiculous as leprechauns. That's the point. That you don't make up something ridiculous to explain the unknown. There's no basis for doing that. There's no incremental step in slowly discovering what's going on in the world and then coming to a break of whatever, of technology. I can't investigate this any further because our tools aren't sophisticated enough to do whatever, and then, boom, insert a ridiculous concept that explains everything, but you have no basis for coming up with it in the first place. Ugh! That's the part about the agnostic position that gets me. Because a lot of them are deists in disguise. I know because I used to be one. You're worshipping it's the god of the gaps. The deists worship the god of the gaps. Not worship in the sense of, bowing to, but holding a special place in their heads for this concept. And there's no good reason to do so. Of course, I responded to his points. One, leprechauns aren't philosophically important. Leprechauns aren't a philosophically important issue by which we label people. And I said, well, neither is the existence of God a philosophically important issue. I mean, it's logically impossible. It doesn't make it important. Two, a denial of leprechauns doesn't leave us with the question, then where did the universe come from? And I said, this is a question for physics. Inserting a god of the gaps at this point is an infantile abandonment of logic. You're pulling in something ridiculous to explain something that is unknown. There is no reason to jump from that systematic discovery and pull in something ridiculous. Infantile. I use and I stick by that word. That is an infantile thing to do. 3, leprechauns are an earthly phenomenon for which we can find counter evidence. And I said, there is plenty of evidence that contradicts the accounts in the Abrahamic texts. And that is, the Abrahamic texts are our single source for the concept of the deity that you're talking about. And then he just responded, 1, you label yourself by and post videos about unimportant issues. Well, considering how insignificant humanity, let alone I am, in the universe, yes, all I do is talk about unimportant issues. 2, physics. Hawking tell you a god's not the answer. A unified field theory, which of course he doesn't understand what that is because he's using it kind of incorrectly, wouldn't answer the question. Universe might or might not have come from a god. This is a logically sound position, alright? Universe might or might not have come from a god. But just because that is a logically sound statement doesn't mean that either option has a 50-50 chance of being true. If might have come from a god has a 0.00001% chance of being true, you disregard it as being absurd. It is out of the considerable realm of possibility. Committing, either way, committing to yes or no, is illogical. Saying I don't know is logical. Learn to reason before throwing words like infantile. This is why the subject of probability was invented with mathematics. Because not everything has a 50-50 chance of being true, and in order to make sense of the world, we need to figure out what's more likely and what's less likely. A ridiculous concept like the God is fantastically unlikely. So unlikely, discard it. Discard it. Throw it away. It is a stupid idea. 3, the Bible's false. Ditch it. Just like the leprechauns. Doesn't disprove the basic concept any more than quackery invalidates science. Basic concept. The concept is derived from the text. There is no other place in history to come up with this idea. If the Bible didn't exist, what would the religious culture of the United States look like today? It certainly wouldn't look like this. We might be polytheistic. And then, of course, we'd be debating about, how many gods there are instead of just this one concept that we came up with a couple thousand years ago. Ugh. If you throw away the Bible, you throw away all concepts within are subject to ridicule, to criticism. You can't just pull things out that you like the sound of because they're right. If the Bible is false, all concepts within are subject to criticism and should be taken apart piece by piece to figure out if they're real or not. Ugh. Ugh. Okay. I'm gonna go play some games now and calm down. Burn some people as a pyro. I might feel better.